just to speak for him because I have that authority.
Hello! We are here at Sun Sounds of Arizona in Flagstaff, Arizona, and welcome to episode 9 of Untamed Shrews, Women Talk Theater. I'm Becki.
I'm Hannah.
And I'm Dawn, and welcome to today's Grab Bag episode.
Yay!
Woo.
A chatty, silly episode. We haven't had one of these in a while. We have covered a lot of serious but important topics, but I'm just excited to be silly with you guys today.
Yeah. Yes. Today it's just us shrews, and we will be answering some listener questions, sharing some fun stories, and just chatting it up.
Yay! So, gals, how are you? What's new? We never just talk.
No, we never just talk. It's true. Well, my big news is I'm currently growing a tiny human.
Which is not very new news to us.
It's not new news to you. You guys,
We're feigning shock.
You guys have known for quite a while. If you were shocked at this point, I wouldn't know how you could be shocked. It's very physically obvious. But I have 27 weeks today. So, just learning everything that goes along with pregnancy. I think one of the crazy things is between theater and trapeze, those being kind of my two worlds of especially women that I hang with. I just don't know that many women, who have babies or had babies or are having babies. In our industry, it's kind of something that is tricky to find the timing for, but it has been a wild ride. I feel like I want to say all these tropes about pregnancy, like we're so excited and da-da-da, which of course we are, but honestly, it's been really tough. It's been a huge learning curve and just physically, whoa. But I've been able to keep up with trapeze, which is awesome. I was just taking class last night, and I get a little tired a little quicker, but I can stay up there and do my stuff. So. Okay. Yeah, that's my thing. I'm growing a tiny baby, and as Hannah pointed out before the episode, by episode 12, he'll be here.
That's so crazy. Yeah.
I feel like I joke that, Dawn, you'll be on the trapeze giving birth. It's just so much a part of your life. I can't imagine.
We will be doing Christmas Carol, and you're like, wait.
Give me a second here. I can picture it. I'm already starting to imagine, which skills, which trapeze skills you could give birth.
Oh, goodness me.
Good gazelle roll up.
Gets you prepped with your legs in a stirrup position.
That's right.
That's so
right.
silly.
Yay.
I cannot wait. I'm so excited to have a tiny, tiny little Flag Shakes human around.
I know, it'll be so funny, and it'll be really interesting because I think I mentioned the sex of the baby is boy. So, however they gender identify later on in life, this is a new thing for me to, I'm the only daughter, and so.
Oh, true. No brothers or anything.
Yeah, no brothers, no anything. So for me, this is also, and in teaching trapeze, I teach mostly tiny little girls, and so.
You also have a lot of aunts.
I have a ton of aunts. I have
and
a
only
million
girl
aunts.
Cousins, really.
A lot of and closer to my girl cousins. Yeah. So, it's really interesting for me to be whoa, it's a boy.
Sean's got his work cut out for him to be a boy dad.
Yeah. He'll be a great boy dad.
Yeah,
though.
he will.
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing, just cooking this tiny human.
Cooking a tiny human inside.
Bun in the oven, as they say.
I was
so
sorry.
I love it.
But I know Becki has big news, too.
Yeah, so big announcement is I've accepted another job with another production company called Rail Events Productions. And their big thing is the Polar Express that happens on trains throughout the U.S. And if you're here in Flagstaff, you probably have heard of the Grand Canyon Railway. There's a Polar Express there. And that's not quite the company that I'm working with. That's kind of the umbrella licensing company to do the show. And I'm working with a smaller subsect of that company that focuses on the production of just 6 cities nationwide. So I'll be the company manager for them.
Woo!
Yeah. So I'm kind of I guess I am leaving Flag Shakes technically.
But not Shrews.
But not Shrews. Not leaving Shrews. And
don't worry, everybody. Yeah. She's not leaving Shrews.
You still get to hear this voice monthly. Don't you worry.
Dulcet tones.
Yeah. But I guess just stepping down from the production manager position. And I mean, you'll still see me acting.
Yeah. Becki will still be around. She's
We
also
hope so.
not leaving Flagstaff.
No.
Don't worry. I asked. Becki and I lived together, so that would have been a tragedy. Yay! Are you excited?
Yeah. So it's a seasonal position, but I've worked with them in the past as a local stage manager out in New Jersey. So it's nice to kind of like take on a little bit more responsibility for all of the cities. And I can do it remotely. So I don't have to
the
leave.
dream. And also like health insurance and stuff, right?
No.
Oh, darn it. Oh.
No, because it's seasonal. And I guess,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what the
Never.
legal requirement is, but because it's only like 6 months or so, to start at least. I mean,
Gotcha.
never know where the future's
Never
going to
know.
lead.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Ugh. That's kind of actually, I mean, I don't have a whole lot going on, but that's something huge. I just got health insurance. Guys, this is so exciting. And actually, let's see, today's the 30th. My first day of coverage is the 1st of September.
Congratulations.
So I will be insured in 2 days. So I just got to lay low till then.
No injuries for the next 2 days.
Stay.
Well, I mean, I am insured, but this is better insurance. So yeah, I'm very excited about that.
That could be a whole episode of Shrews is just talking about
Health insurance.
health insurance in the
Taxes.
entertainment industry
Ooh,
and
Becki's
taxes.
really
I
good at
love to
taxes.
talk about it.
Yeah, Becki's so good at taxes.
Oh, great.
Every year I'm like, Becki, how? Although I just pay someone to do my taxes, so
Yeah.
But like I'm always asking her questions about those kinds of things. Like Becki always knows about like
Aw.
paperwork that I don't understand. She always has the answers.
I'm no expert, but all of the information that I learned, I'm like, why did nobody tell me this?
Right.
So
Yeah.
anytime I can help somebody else, you know, with the caveat of like, I'm not a tax professional,
Right. But I can at least tell you
Help
what
you
I've been
out.
through. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else.
well, your expanded role in Flagstaff?
Oh yeah, duh. I'm full time now at Flag Shakes, which is so exciting. I'm very sad that Becki is leaving, but that did give me the opportunity to go up to full time, which is really exciting for me. So yeah, that has been awesome. It's only been a week, but I have filled every hour of all of those days with more to do. So there seems to be plenty.
There's plenty to do.
But I'm also just super excited to use those hours specifically on the podcast. Eventually, still hasn't happened yet, but I want to like start an Instagram just for Shrews, and just like really start focusing on like cutting out little clips and like really focusing on getting the word out there. Trademarking our name, that kind of stuff. So just lots of stuff to work on and look into. So yeah, that's definitely my big thing. I left my other part-time job. I used to just have part-time Flag Shakes, part-time a different job as a copy editor. But I left my copy editing job, and now I'm going to be full-time here. Although I got some fun news. I'm being hired on to copy edit a friend's book, which is super exciting. So now I'm like officially a copy editor for hire, I suppose, a freelance copy editor, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is kind of fun. And I just performed with the symphony this weekend. That was a lot of fun and definitely like a big thing in what I was focusing on the last few weeks. I also just got back from Hawaii, which was fun. Summer's ending.
Yeah. Labor Day weekend.
That the bit about the symphony leads into one of the listener questions
Oh,
that
yeah.
we got. And one of the listeners really wanted to know how you prepared for the symphony. Becki and I attended and had a ton of fun. But you
Yay.
essentially narrated. I thought it was so cool because you listen so often to classical music. You know there's a story, but unless you've seen the opera or the ballet, you have no idea what the story is.
Right. Yeah.
So this
you
one
just
was
have to
really
sort of-
cool because you narrated the whole tale of like what was going on. And so one of the listener questions was about like how did you prepare
Yeah.
to do that kind of performance?
So actually it was so fun. So the Flagstaff Symphony Orchestra, they're the sweetest. I love their leadership, especially like everyone over there is just so awesome to work with. So I got asked to narrate Peter and the Wolf, which is, I'm sure you've heard of it. Like even Disney has done a version. So it's like about a 30-minute symphony with narration. And it was really terrifying, I have to admit, because you get handed this like really insane score. And it's literally a symphony score, and it's like a 40, 60 piece orchestra. Like they're ginormous. And so, I mean, my degree's in musical theater, so I can read music, but I was actually talking to the conductor. Like if I couldn't read music, I have no idea how I could have done it, because he said that like they've had like very oftentimes Peter and the Wolf is done by just like a local celebrity, like maybe like a broadcaster or like the TV's newscaster or something like that. But I'm like, whoa, like if I didn't know how to read music, that would have been so hard. And even then, like I worked on this piece like every day for a few weeks before, and I would like practice with the like version with narration, and then I like of course eventually moved on to using the like just symphony. Like I had a recording of just the symphony, and like when I made that transition, it was really scary because like I'm literally following along this like very intense music, like, and it switches because it's a condensed score. So like imagine like a giant like musical score, right? There's like literally like 40 different instruments, but in this particular condensed score, it's like it switches between the lead instruments. So like sometimes the lead instrument is the oboe, sometimes the lead instrument is the flute, but it doesn't tell you that. You just have to like follow it. So like it'll just basically what I had to do is like count a lot and look for like small motifs that like I got to know in the music, or like a lot of times like I would focus on like a trill or like a like musical notation that I like knew, like, okay, if I get lost, I just need to like wait for that fermata and then I'll know where I am, and then I'll like continue to read from there. Or like, oh, I know that like the flute always trills on this like one note. I got lost, I'm a few bars behind, but I wait for the trill and then I like know that I'm like, oh, I speak in 3 bars.
Wow.
But it was really hard, but it was tons of fun. So that's how I like prepared for it. But the listener was also asking about like how, I mean, because it was a huge event. There was hundreds, maybe 1,000 people at this event. But to be honest, like I didn't even think about it as being that large. I mean, I was co-hosting the event too with the conductor, and we just kind of planned out some like general ideas of what we wanted to talk about, but otherwise we just kind of improv'd it. And he and I both decided, and we were both more comfortable with it just being improv'd rather than like reading off a script. We were actually that actually made us more nervous, so we're like, I'm just gonna ask you some questions and then you answer them. And you know, I have some experience in opera and stuff, so he would like ask me about Carmen, and I did Carmen when I was in high school, so I just kind of like talked about that, you know, just like little things here and there. So I mean, I guess as like a larger question, I just don't get stage fright anymore. So a TBH didn't prep for it. Like, of course I prepped for the actual performance, like of like learning the performance and like learning my lines and stuff, and like practicing the voices of the different characters in Peter and the Wolf. But when it came to like prepping, and this listener had asked, like, how do you feel comfortable with like 1,000 people out there? I just like don't even think about it. I mean, I'm sure you guys don't either, like really anymore. I mean, the really nice thing about this one is that like the script was in front of me. So like, because I'm like literally reading along with an orchestra. So
you didn't have to memorize.
like I didn't have to memorize. I just needed to be really familiar and like really confident with like the actual piece itself. So that definitely gives you like a like comfort, like not comfort blanket, safety blanket. Like I wasn't ever going to be like, what's my line? And the orchestra just continues. You know what I mean? Like unless like the wind flies my page around or something, like I pretty much will always know where I am. Or if I get lost in the music. But I mean, I had done it so many times and rehearsed with them several times by then. So like I basically knew, even if something had happened, I would have been able to be like, oh, I at least kind of know what like that motif is. I can try to find where I am in the page. But no, I don't get stage fright anymore. Do you guys? I don't really experience that anymore. I mean, maybe when I was like a kiddo, but to be honest,
definitely as
not
a
anymore.
kid, yeah.
It depends on what it is.
I mean,
like,
I get nervous, but that's more like preparation. Like, oh no, am I gonna like forget my lines? Am I gonna like?
Oh, I definitely meant nervous, not like where I
stage fright
physically could not get on
totally.
stage.
Yeah.
Well, actually, when I was like 5, I did a summer camp show with my sister. I got very nervous and I just followed her around stage the whole time.
Yeah, but you were 5. Yeah, you're 5. That's different.
That's so cute. Yeah, I think it's one of the biggest like misconceptions is that stage fright is either like you either have it or you don't have it, and that if you have stage fright, like you'll always have stage fright. But it's just like anything else, and the more you actually get out in front of people, the less and less you have stage fright. So it's one of those things that I like to talk to like people who are in my intro to theater classes or like in theater classes about, because they have this conception like, no, I have horrible stage fright. And it's like, it's not like, unless you have a genuine phobia, which you know, people have phobias about all kinds of things. But unless you have a genuine phobia, you probably are just dealing with feelings of like underexposure to talking in front of groups. And like you were saying, once you've been in front of people and you've done it so many times, you kind of stop being scared. But definitely get nervous, because without that energy, I don't even know if I could get on stage. Like I need the nervous energy.
Oh, true. And it like lights a fire under your butt to like really, you know, do the thing, you know. But also like they were treating me like such a little celebrity. Like they just kept talking me up, and I was like, guys, no, keep talking. Like, thanks, guys.
Follow me around.
Yeah, no, seriously, they were like really gassing me up and like acting like I was the like best thing since sliced bread. So like it was not very difficult. But I do have a funny story. When I had asked the conductor what I should wear, he was like, well, we're wearing jeans and white button-up shirts, so you can wear that, or you can wear, like, whatever you want. I was like, okay, well, like, when I think of, like, symphony, like, I'm going to get dressed up, right? And so I put on, like, this really nice dress and, like, this pair of heels, and, like, all of the symphony members were like, you get to wear a dress? They were like, why do you look so pretty and I'm in jeans? I'm like, I'm sorry. I should have just worn what you guys were wearing, because now I'm like totally sticking out like a sore thumb.
Well, but you were presenting.
That's true, yeah.
But also part of the reason that I enjoy acting is to wear the costume.
Oh, totally. Yeah, looking nice, doing the makeup, curling my hair. No, yeah, that's so funny. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, do we have any other listener questions?
Yeah, I really want to ask this one because I thought it was really funny. So one of our listeners asked, have we seen the Doctor Who episode about Shakespeare? The answer for me is definitely not, because I don't watch Doctor Who.
I can also confidently say I've never seen that episode, nor any episode of Doctor Who, but I have seen one of the actors in a show in London. Zach Braff wrote a show. Zach Braff?
I have no idea.
I think it was Zach Braff.
Isn't Zach Braff the like...
That's an actor.
From Scrubs.
From Scrubs,
yeah.
Okay, is he in Doctor Who?
No, but he wrote a show, a play.
Following you now.
Yes.
All our listeners who watch Doctor Who
everyone just Googled.
They're like, did she just
Of course Zach Braff isn't in Doctor Who.
But in his show, one of the Doctor Who doctors or actors, she was in that show. So I haven't seen Doctor Who, but I have seen one of the actors, but I couldn't tell you what her name was.
Of Kevin Bacon.
Yes. I have seen one full episode, and it was probably like in the middle, sorry. And I think is it
David Tennant?
David Tennant, who does like, so I tried to watch one of his because I'm pretty sure. And now that you guys know I'm pregnant, I can just say this is totally pregnancy brain. Christine either worked with him at the Globe or sat next to him in a play.
We're not sure. One or the other.
It was one or the other. And then I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll give it a try and like, see how it goes. I want to say he was in a show, but it could have been that she just sat next to him once. I have no idea. But no, I have not seen that episode of Doctor Who. I'm very curious what Shakespeare does in that one.
No, and I don't know if they like meet Shakespeare, because I mean, I guess I have seen one episode of Doctor Who. And
let's just guess.
Yeah, let's
right now.
Let's speculate. So I've seen one episode of Doctor Who, and it was the Moisturize Me episode. I don't know if you guys know at all what I'm talking about.
Nope.
But like, I don't know. It's like this weird alien episode where like one of these humanoid thingies is just like a piece of skin, like stretched across a thing.
Wait. I think I've seen that
and she's
same
like,
episode.
yeah. She's just like a piece of skin with eyes.
How is
anyway,
that
it was
also the
so
one that I've
weird.
seen?
I don't
That's
know.
also the one that I've
Maybe
seen.
it's famous, and that's why people show you that one. Because one of my besties from high school had me watch it, but it was weird. Anyway,
That's definitely that one that
that's
I've also
so
seen.
funny.
Okay.
Okay.
From beginning to end.
So anyway, yeah, maybe the doctor meets Shakespeare. Maybe it's just like,
Maybe it's in iambic pentameter.
yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
So answer to this listener, no, we have not. But I would like to flip this question.
Yeah.
And we should talk about Shakespeare like in other movies and stuff, and like
Oh my gosh.
like
Okay.
She's the Man, 10 Things I Hate About You,
West
like
Side
Slings and
Story.
Arrows.
Oh,
You've been
Slings and
talking
Oh
about
yeah, yeah.
Slings and
Slings and Arrows
Arrows,
is amazing. Everyone who enjoys theater and or Shakespeare should watch Slings and Arrows.
which I have not.
Just to laugh your butt off.
Okay, I'm ready. Wait, where is it?
Well, I don't know where it is, but I have the DVD.
Okay,
Oh.
coming
So
over.
if you have that ancient technology,
I actually don't.
I haven't-
Wait, I don't.
well, I have an external
Okay,
DVD
good,
drive
good.
I can lend you with it because
Yeah.
I literally only
I
use
have a
it to
Mac
watch.
Air.
Yeah, I
So it
literally
doesn't
only
have a-
use it to watch Slings and Arrows.
That's funny.
But that's a great one. My all-time favorite Shakespeare, like on film, is actually a Bollywood version of Othello called Omkara.
Okay.
And it's in Punjabi, so you have to read the
Subtitles.
subtitles. But it is amazing.
So good.
Like I felt like when I watched it, I finally understood what should be at stake in Othello. Because they were able, of course, to use like the caste system, but also some of what goes along with that is like some of the I guess, I think you would say prejudice, and I'm sorry if that's the wrong word, that goes along with skin tonality.
Colorism.
Right. So she is lighter than he is. She's from a higher caste than
that
he
right?
is.
Colorism.
But the whole political system there is, you know, like that he's working inside of, it's a lot of like guerrilla warfare. It's a lot of, so you really see like that, like Omkara is the name of the character who becomes, you know, like famous as a war general. But you really see like what that means as far as like grit and determination and just like, I don't know. I feel like that was the first time I really, really understood that play. And if I ever directed that play, I would be hard pressed to find a way to bring that to stage because they did such a good job. And so, yeah, I highly recommend that. If you haven't seen Omkara, I'm pretty sure it's on Amazon. You have to pay to watch it, but like pay to watch it. It is fantastic.
Omkara, sponsor us.
And Omkara, seriously, you're my favorite movie. The actress who plays Bianca, who of course is like the famous sort of like, is she a
Beautiful
courtesan? Is
sister,
she not? Yeah, she has this incredible Bollywood number in a nightclub. And that's the really cool thing is it's not Bollywood as in like what you expect where like everything stops and there's a song. They really do manage to like use the love story for the songs. He has like, it's in the soundtrack too. Like he has this whole like backup song that's like Omkara. It's like all hardcore. I'm probably not singing it right.
Don's version of Bollywood.
My
rap
version of
or-
Bollywood Omkara. Like, they're just like chanting behind him. Anyway,
I presume that's his
highly
name,
recommend.
right? Like rather
Yeah,
than
his name is
Othello.
Omkara. So they all have like, you know, just slightly
Vaguely
like,
similar.
her name is Dolly
Gotcha.
instead of Desdemona.
Gotcha.
So they all, you know, but lovely, watch it, please. And I feel like just along those lines, I like Shakespeare on film the further it is from trying to meet the original.
Oh yeah.
I like it when people, and I feel
you
like that
just
might
use
be
like
weird.
the vague
Yeah,
outline.
I love it when people take liberties. Like I love 10
Yeah.
Things I Hate About You.
Yeah,
I
she's
love,
the man. I'm obsessed.
Yeah, it's so good.
So I was actually just talking to Luis at the Foundry, the Flagstaff Foundry, the other weekend. About
she's the man.
No. About kind of like, we were pseudo talking about adaptations, where, so have you heard of, I think it's the ship of Theseus, where it's, so the ship is built and it sets sail across the sea.
Oh,
but one by
yes!
one,
He
yeah.
was telling us this.
Yeah, yeah.
yes.
So one by one, the boards get replaced until the ship in its entirety is now entirely different boards. So the concept is this ship still the ship of Theseus, or is this an entirely new ship? So when we look at like adaptations, like what's the essence of the thing? And like does that suffice?
Yeah.
That's kind of the question about it, where just talking about all these Shakespeare adaptations where it's like, yeah, it might not be Shakespeare's actual words, or maybe the character names have changed, but like, what's the essence of the story, and is that still there?
Was he the one who was telling us about, or maybe this is a fully different human, was talking about a boat that passes by year after year and just continuously does a Shakespeare play? And you just happen to see whatever scene is happening when the boat passes by your town.
Whoa.
But it passes by every year. So the thought is that by the time your life ends, you will have seen
the whole
play.
That's
Question
fun.
mark? I don't know.
That's
Who was telling me about that?
hilarious.
I don't know. I feel like it was Louise. Louise, if you listen, was that you? I'll text you. Anyway, isn't that so silly? No, but I gotta say, she's the man. I was obsessed as a tween because I was always compared to Amanda Bynes. I still am sometimes, but I just thought she was so hilarious. And when she did that movie, and I discovered that it was based off of Twelfth Night. Oh my gosh, I loved it. I loved that the tarantula was named Malvolio. It was so cute. His name was Duke. I don't know. It was just so good. I just thought it was so great. And yeah, I kind of like that, with 10 Things I Hate About You, where it's it's vaguely about it. And there's little tiny Shakespeare references, with names, or the tarantula being named Malvolio, or the name of the school is the name of the town that we're in, or whatever, in the play. I just love that stuff. But
Well, I think one of the things that we really talk about a lot in our artistic principles at Flag Shakes is that Shakespeare wrote for the stage, and he did it brilliantly.
Yeah.
But he wrote for the stage. So sometimes you can find wonderful ways to translate that or to film a Shakespeare play as is. But I just, to speak for him, because I have that authority, I don't think he would have any problem with adaptations that make it film worthy, or that use what works on film as opposed to what works on stage to make a really good story. And then I think it brings people in. Someone might watch She's the Man and be like, oh, this is based on something else, really interesting, I should
Do a
read
deep
it.
dive,
Or, yeah.
or our listeners, I love Doctor Who. That made me intrigued about Shakespeare. I don't know if that's how she found Shakespeare, or she just likes Doctor Who and Shakespeare. Who knows? Guys, I think we have time for just one more quick question.
Okay.
Which is
whoa.
crazy.
Okay,
I know.
great.
I mean, we always act surprised.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
28 minutes comes.
Should we answer your sweetie's question?
Oh yeah. So my husband is a musician, and his question was, "Who is your favorite musician, and why is it me?" So of course,
he's done a lot of our music. So.
he has done a lot of our music. My answer to that is, it's you, of
Aw.
course, because you write so many songs about me.
Oh, that's true. Southside, honey. Such a good
I
one.
don't know anyone else who writes songs about me, so that's why you're my favorite.
If you're writing songs about Dawn, please let us know.
Let us know. So I guess that's kind of my quick answer.
Yeah.
But you guys know I'm like an old country girl.
Oh, yeah.
I like me some Holt Axton and Willie Nelson and Waylon Jennings, and so
Yeah.
that's kind of where I lie musically.
Yeah, this is such a tough question. Becky, do you have a quick answer? I'm thinking.
My short answer is no. And the caveat to that is, even a question like this, I get so nervous about because I feel like I know nothing about music, which is not true. And this is my imposter syndrome, coming in.
Yeah.
But even I'm just I don't know. I like singer-songwriters, and I like this song from this one person, but I don't really know their whole genre, their whole oeuvre or whatever.
No, I agree with you. I'm definitely a playlist gal.
Yeah.
So I love I guess I'll say, I don't know if I have a favorite musician, but I have a favorite probably music genres. Folk, if I'm thinking not show tunes, which definitely is high up there for me, it's probably folk. I really like folk music. But yeah, I'm definitely a playlist person. So you're right. It's I like this one song from this one artist. And then, but yeah, definitely show tunes. I really like golden era musicals. I'm a sucker for just a good classic. But I also just really love girl power musicals. Those are my fave.
Yeah.
Heathers, Legally Blonde, Mean Girls, those kinds. I don't know. There's nothing better than like working out to a girl power musical because it's like, yeah, I'm hot and blonde and I'm going to step on you with my stilettos. Those are the best kinds of musicals. They're always about trios of girl gangs in high school, all of them. And I don't know, I identify with those. I feel like maybe it's because I'm not an angry or mean person, but like those songs are so sassy and like, I don't know.
Yeah.
We all want to be Regina George for a moment, but not be Regina George actually. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
Does that make any sense?
No, yeah, because she
so
speaks her mind and like she's kind of like the head bitch in charge. Yeah. But then it's also like, but you know, when you look about that long term, like it's nice to
Not
have
a good
friends.
person.
Oh yeah,
and be respected for your kindness.
Yeah, exactly.
No, my favorite parts I've played on stage are people that it would be
villains,
absolutely pitiful if you
to
were
be,
in person.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Where you're like, oh no, that's not actually romantic or interesting. It's sad.
Yeah. You're just a bad person.
Yeah. But on stage, that's one of the beautiful things about being able to act is that you can get up there and be whoever. And same thing with music for like for 3 minutes, you can be whoever you want to be while you sing along with that song.
Totally, exactly, yeah. Well,
right.
we only got to like 3 questions.
I know.
None of our fun stories about shenanigans or I really wanted to tell my skirt falling off story. I guess it'll have to be another time.
Yeah.
Gina is giggling behind the glass. She cannot wait for the skirt falling off story.
I have a story about straight up like body slamming a set piece. So I can't wait to tell that story.
maybe after, well, we'll get there, but maybe we'll do another silly episode. But rather than answering questions, we'll just get to all of our fun stories.
Yeah, we have so many, I'm sure.
Silly.
All right.
Well, thanks for listening to this month's episode of Untamed Shrews. I'm Becki.
And I'm Hannah.
And I'm Dawn.
Join us next month for our 10th episode. We are still working on confirming a very exciting guest, but we will let you know soon.
Woo! Follow the Flagstaff Shakespeare Festival on Instagram at FlagShakes and on Facebook at facebook.com/Flagstaff Shakespeare Festival. All episodes of Untamed Shrews can be found on sunsounds.org, the Flagstaff Shakespeare Festival YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Stitcher.
This episode of Untamed Shrews, starring Dawn Tucker, Becki Zaritsky, and Hannah Fonts. Show art by Calliope Luedeker. Podcast theme song by Cadence Lamb. Podcast edited by Hannah Fonts. Special thanks to Gina Byars.
Yay!
Yay!
Bye!
Bye!
Bye.